This is ECOVAC's flagship model of a robot vacuum / mop. I have reviewed a bunch of vacuum mops over the past few months, and we are going to dive into the X12 OMNICYCLONE. We're going to talk about some of the features that it has. We're going to talk about the self-cleaning mop. We're going to jump into the, again, new top-of-the-line model. It's got a bagless self-emptying dock, a self-washing roller mop, and I ran through the unboxing. I'm going to run through mapping. I'm going to run through vacuuming. I'll jump into the app. We'll show you mopping. We'll show you everything here. We're going to show you the air detangler, which actually pulls hair straight out instead of winding it around, which is really, really nice. So let's jump into the box right now and show you everything that comes in the box. In the box, you get the robot, the dock, the water tanks, detergent, soap, and the side brush. Setup was pretty painless. From opening the box to sending it out on its first run took me about a half an hour. Most of that's just getting the dock positioned and plugged in. You're also going to see the ramp, the power cord. And once it's docked, the app checks for a firmware update. It's going to take a few minutes. Mine had one waiting and it installed in about 5 minutes. After that, it heads out to mop your home automatically. That first mapping run took around 5, 6, 7 minutes, and it used about 10% of the battery life. So it starts off really close to full. You want to make sure that you pull all of the extra wrapping off and that you get all of the little tiny pieces of plastic. There are some coverings and different things like that on the map. You also could see there is a setup guide, a quick start guide that kind of walks you through the entire process so that you know exactly what you're doing. That's the vacuum. Really, really well built, heavy duty. This is much larger than I anticipated, which is really nice because you know you're getting a great product that's built well. Once it's docked, the app checks for a firmware update. Mine had one waiting and it installed in about 5 minutes. After that, it heads out to map your home automatically. The first mapping run took around 5 to 7 minutes. It uses about 8 to 10% of the battery, so it starts off already close to full. After you've unboxed everything and gotten everything ready to go, you're going to want to turn it on, connect to your Wi-Fi, download the app, which I'll show you here in just a second. So this is going to power on. It will actually talk to us.
Hello, the system is starting up. It should take another 15 seconds. Please hang tight.
This white button right here is our Bluetooth button. So we would actually press this and connect. Now, before you get going and start mapping and doing all of that stuff, you want to make sure that you update to the latest firmware, both for the station and for the vacuum mop itself. So as we start, we're actually going to scan to connect. And we're going to see a power on and actually just follow all the rules on screen. So again, we've already switched that on. And we're going to press the Wi-Fi button, which I showed you earlier.
I've activated my Bluetooth hotspot. In the app, find me in the list of detected robots and tap to start Bluetooth pairing. DEEBOT now is connected to the app via Bluetooth. Please select default Wi-Fi and enter the password in the app to start the network connection.
So this is where you connect Wi-Fi. It's going to online. It's going to bind the robot. One of the things about the DEEBOT X12 is we actually have a camera on the vacuum mop itself. And so as I hit the power button for 3 seconds, we're going to hold this down. And then we can actually create a password where we can log in and see the camera at any time. So right here, you'll actually just see me sitting on the couch. You can see me moving my legs. This is actually my tripod with the camera on it. The rest of our living room and kitchen, you'll see a little bit of this here in a few minutes about where this is going to vacuum. But this is really nice if you have cats or dogs or just to monitor the home, that you can check in on the camera on your vacuum mop anytime that you want. Now, if we go back to the actual app itself, this is one of the things that I love about DEEBOT and ECOVACS is they have controls not only for the robot, but also the station. So we've got a bunch of options here. We can do just vacuum, vacuum and mop only, and every time I change, you can hear this change. I can do a mop after vacuum, and then we can change our suction power. Now, one of the things about the suction power is we've got 20,000 PA suction power. We also have adjustable water flow. I can slide this up and down. We can do standard deep cleaning. We can do quick clean if we just want to do something really quick. And then we can also change the number of passes that we wanted to do that way. So you can see I can go through all of these controls. Now this is the controls of the robot vac itself. If we jump into the station, I can also empty the dustbin, I can wash the mop, I can dry the mop. The beautiful thing about the washing mop is this temperature of the water heats up to 170 degrees, so it's going to kill all of the germs and potential harmful things that get in that mop, as well as when it's mopping, it will self-clean. And we'll kind of walk you through that process when we show you. So the very first thing that we want to do is we want to enter and we want to map. And so before you start mapping, you obviously want to move everything out of the way, move everything off the floor. This is going to do kind of like a LiDAR shootout mapping. So I'm just picking up some of the dog toys, different things like that. And we will start to map our rooms, and it will auto detect rooms. And so we are going to map your home. So I will show you some footage of the mop doing this, but I want to show you how this actually looks as it's doing this. Is it actually shoots out the LiDAR and it pings back, and so you'll see the map create right as we're going, which is really, really, really cool, and the rooms actually just start to appear. You can see there it is right there. Just let it go a little bit more as it picks up some of this information from the room. It's going to go around the couch legs, it'll go around any kitchen table, it'll go around the edges. You'll see it's picking up pretty fast. It probably should not take more than 5 minutes. So I'm going to switch over to some footage of the vacuum actually just mapping the room. So good, again, as it's mopping, you can see we have the little swing brush right here. Again, this is just in mapping mode. This is not in cleaning or mopping or vacuuming mode. It's just one of the other really powerful things about the OMNICYCLONE is the Jet Mop AI. So you can actually set this and where it will jet mop before the roller goes over it. So we can actually set zones, you can see here, and jet mop right here, we've already confirmed that this is on. And so I can actually set zones where I don't want the mop to go. And you see I've set a couple of them, or if I wanted to, I could actually move this into the kitchen, which is where we really want it. So we can adjust this because I want it to clean really, really well in the kitchen. So we're just going to get this really close right here. And that's where it will jet mop. And you can see this other square down here. This is a no spray zone. This is a carpet. This is a rug. We don't want to do that. Now, before we would start that, we want to do our cleaning speed. We'd want to make sure that all the water is filled in, the cleaning solution, all of that stuff. This is where you can set that up. We're not going to quite do that right now. So you can see it's actually found the mess right here. When the vacuum mop first goes out, you'll see that it has this little talus brush. And this side brush is going to sweep everything from out on the edges. So it'll go around garbage cans, around cupboards, in doorways, different things like that. So when it first goes out, it's going to go around and do all of the edges. And this is for the most economical use of the battery. You can see that brush is getting underneath those little footsteps. One of the things I love about the ECOVAC mops and vacuums is that they have two split containers. So you have a clean water on the left. You can see this, you just fill it up with water. There's a soap and detergent container down at the bottom, and this is easily to refill. And then on the right, you have your dirty water. So after it's done mopping, again, you can see right there, there's a little clean and the dirty, so you can tell the difference between the two. But the dirty water, you can just empty in the sink and then wash out and you can reuse it again. So inside of the home base station, this actually filters through the water and cleans it. You also have this dustbin, which I'll show you a little bit in detail later, as far as the dust separating from big chunks of cereal and hair and different things like that, and how to clean that out. Great things about the ECOVACS line is they actually will go back and empty midway through so that the vacuum can clean. And you can see this canister right here. So So the X12 has no problem with carpet, tile, wood, and transitioning between the three. You can see here it's going from the tassel rug to the wood floor to the tile. And there's a lot of dust and everything right around here because we're working on our fireplace. You can see that we've torn this whole thing out. And the nice thing is it has that 20,000 PA suction power. So it's going to get all of the little tiny pieces that you can't even see. And we can see that when we empty the dustbin after it's done. There's that little sweep mop getting the corners. And again, no problems with tile, wood, and carpet. So we've put some flour and cereal down here. It doesn't really have any problems with it. That little brush, again, sweeps everything in front of it, and then it picks up all that cereal. And the nice thing is when the robot gets full, it'll actually go back and empty itself without being prompted or anything like that. It's actually really great that it just goes back and forth and cleans everything up. I mentioned earlier about the dustbin, which is bagless. You can see all the cereal, flour, all the things that it picked up in here. But the cool thing about this is that on this side, we have a filter that pulls and separates the dust from the larger pieces. Over here, we have a quick release on the canister. Let me show you how that works. So the quick release canister is right here. You just push down and all of that pops out. And again, just close the lid, it snaps in again. So we just push this down and all of that pops out. Mentioned earlier, we have our clean water over here and our dirty water over here. You can barely hear it, but what it's doing is actually filling up the vacuum with water, and then it's going to heat up that water so it's hot. So this will stay in here. This compartment pulls out. You can put the soap in here. You can see right down there, which we've already done. This just snaps back into place. So we're starting in the kitchen. We've got some milk, we've got some syrup, and then we've got some hair, and the hair usually gets stuck around the outsides. And so we're going to give this a pass through. You can see that we have a lot of dust right here. This is the air conditioner that comes out, cools the kitchen. And so ECOVACS is right over here. Just cleaning up, just getting started. So it's going to vacuum and mop at the same time. You can see that roller down on the bottom. See it shooting out. I'll show you here as it extends around the corner. So there's that spray coming out right there. It sees that mess, which is super cool. So this really is the headline feature, the FocusJet. You saw it just spray out. Well, when the robot detects a stain or liquid or something on the floor, it sprays it first in a crossed water jet pattern to soften it. Then it comes back with a roller to scrub it up. You can also manually tag the zone in the app, like muddy paw prints by the back door, and it'll pre-treat that spot specifically. I tested this here with some milk and some syrup, and you can see that it actually just does great. The roller mop itself spins at 220 RPM and self-washes with fresh water as it goes, scraping the dirty water off the brush after each rotation, so you're not smearing dirty water around the floor. You'll also notice around the roller is there's a cover, so as if it goes back over carpet or anything else, that cover is a huge difference between the X11 and the X12. That's a new addition on this model that you need to be aware of. It's going to go right back over, finish the job. And then it will start vacuum mopping the rest of the kitchen. So we'll show you that dirty water once it goes back to the hub and cleans everything. I'm just going to let it finish the rest of the kitchen. Now we're coming back to wash the roller mop, and you'll see that little gray tray right in there. So that hot water is going to come up, and then the dirty water will drain and get sucked up into the top in the dirty water compartment right here. So it's going to back in, clean out that dirty water, and put in new clean water to go finish the second round of mopping. So here's our dirty water with the milk, the red dye. We can actually just take this over to our sink. We pop this off, and just dump it down the drain, wash this out with hot water. And again, this is ready to go for another round. Now, a couple things I want to show you about the actual vacuum. So you can see underneath the bottom, there is a cover right here that actually pops out over the roller so that when the roller is mopping or it goes back over the carpet, that this is not here. You can see we don't have any hair in here of the detangling. That all got sucked right in here. Yeah, there's a little bit of flour residue left over. That's really easy to kind of get cleaned off. But again, there's no hair anywhere here. And then again, this cover, when it goes out to vacuum and mop at the same time, this little cover shoots out right over here and it's good to go. I want to talk to you a little bit about the navigation and the obstacle avoidance. Navigation is powered by their AV3D system, and it's structured with light sensors, and it's generally good at spotting real obstacles, cables, toys, pets, messes. It also can recognize the difference between floor, tile, carpets, rugs, and wood. And so in your app, it'll actually notify you, hey, we noticed that there's a tassel rug. Is this a tassel rug? You can hit yes. In independent testing, it avoided 23 out of 24 test obstacles and climbed a 25mm threshold without getting stuck. And you saw it over here when we had the wood and the rug, and by the fireplace that we've taken out, it's going to avoid anything where it doesn't fall in. Battery and daily use. The battery life is going to land around 200 minutes on a full charge. It manages its own charging breaks during long cleans. So you saw that it'll come back and charge a little bit, and it gives a little bit of power boost in charging to get back 13% of the battery so you can go out and finish a job if it has 4 or 5 minutes left. The dust bin holds enough that ECOVAC rates it for 48 days between empties. And because the dock is bagless, you're never buying replacement bags, just an occasional rinsing of the bin. Now, comparing this to the last year's X11 OMNICYCLONE, the X12 is basically the same core hardware with the carpet cover mechanism, which is an upgrade, and that's a standout new addition. So that's the little piece that I was just talking about that covers the carpet, right? Now, this dock is a self-emptying cycle. It will clean itself. The battery percentage is in the graphic. Who is the X12 OMNICYCLONE for? If you've got pets, mix of hardwood floors, carpet, rugs, tile, and you're tired of kind of managing bags and dirty mop pads, the X12 is especially for you. This is something that can go all night long where you're asleep. Again, it can do mopping, it can do vacuuming, it does self-emptying, self-cleaning, it heats up the water by itself. It has the dirty container, the clean container, and again, we're talking bagless on the dust. Now, if you've got the X11, this is probably a little bit of a harder sell for you, but if you are looking for a top of the line vacuum mop, then this is the vacuum mop for you.